Got all in my beard. Bleh. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wigging Out with Bobby Z. It's a Wiggy Weavy Wednesday, and it's Christmas Day, and I'm actually recording on a Wednesday. Wow, this is nuts. So in this video, I'm going to talk really quickly about the different types of wig stands, the pros and cons, and this kind of covers pretty much every budget from, $5 up to $300 and everything in between. So if you don't have a huge budget for a wig clamp, but you still want one or need one, kind of trying to lay it out for you guys so that you guys can kind of use your budget and kind of find what works for you. Big problem with these, I mean, they're great stands, they're sturdy, they work. The only problem is once you put a head on these guys like this, they still spin. See how that's spinning? You're trying to like tease this and it's rolling around, and I'm sure all of you guys have had this happen to you, and I'm going to show you a quick and cheap way to fix this. I'm going to show you two different ways today on how to make your stand a little more sturdy so your wigs won't wobble and spin around. You can see that I've just used plain white masking tape and I've wrapped it around the stand here, and I focused on this part right here. Peg starts to get a little wider, and that's just because when you put the block on it, that is where the end of the block is. So that's kind of what you have to thicken out a little bit. Once you put the block on there and you kind of pound it in a little bit, it's not going to be as easy to move it. You can see here, I didn't go all the way up to the top. If you thicken it out a little too much, your block might not go back on it. So you just kind of want to put maybe 5 or 6 layers of tape here to bulk it out just a little bit, and then stop about a ½ inch from the top. Then you want to put your block on it and you want to kind of pound it on, and you kind of want to turn it to see if it still spins very easily. Just go put a couple more layers of tape. I can't tell you guys exactly how many layers of tape to use. All blocks are different, all stands are different. So what I have and what works for me might not work for you, so it's all about trial and error. So just add a couple more layers of tape, put it on again, try to turn it, and if it works, if it doesn't turn, you're good to go. If it turns, put another layer of tape. Just keep kind of adding layers and layers until you get to a point where it doesn't turn anymore. Okay, so as you can see, I took all the masking tape off of my stand. I can demonstrate to you guys this thing opening. So you can see here, this is the open position, and this is the closed position. But I'm just going to show you guys right now that this particular stand, when it's open, it doesn't do anything. So I'm opening it as tight as I can, and my wig still moves very freely. I don't like that. I like a nice sturdy hold. So I'm going to pop the wig off, and I'm going to close the stand again. It does give you a nice firmer grip than the masking tape, except it doesn't last as long. The masking tape, this masking tape I did about 2 years ago, and it is still there and it still works great. The next technique I'm going to show you guys, you do have to replace every so often because it does kind of disintegrate and fall apart. But it gives you a much sturdier hold, so if you think about it, it's giving you a sturdier hold, so it's kind of better to invest in it. Honestly, probably already have this laying around your house. Self-adhesive ace bandage, like this. Self-adhesive ace bandage. I have about this much, which is about as much as I'm gonna need. So this stuff does stretch, as you can see. It does stretch about double. For your stand, you're gonna need, this is about, I wanna say that's about 6 or 7 inches of band. And what you want to do is you want to do the same thing I said before, and you want to start on the bottom, and you want to stretch it out like this, and you want to wrap it around so that you catch the end. Once you latch it onto the bottom, this is where my seam is right now. So this is where it's gone around. It's only gone around once. I then like to go pretty much at an angle and go straight up along the top side of the stand peg like that. And then I like to go down and I like to thicken out the bottom. I like to put some up here just because if you start up here, if you end up here, it's going to unravel so quickly because the block is going to go on and off. So I like to put my seams always down here, but I do like to put a little bit up here just to kind of grip the block a little better. And then once you have a little bit once you've covered it about 2 or 3 times around like I've just done, you want to put your block on there, and you want to make sure that that is a nice, sturdy amount of ace bandage. I like to go over and seal the bottom with some masking tape just so it doesn't unravel in a couple days like this stuff tends to do. Almost better to lay on the side of caution and make it a little thinner, because you can always build up the bulk of this bottom part with masking tape. Now that I've gone around 2 or 3 times, I'm just going to snip this off. I have a little bit left still. And I'm just going to kind of make that stick to itself. Now, if you're in a rush or you don't have any masking tape, this will be fine. This will work for a little bit, but it will eventually start to unravel. So I do like to take some masking tape. This is about 1 inch wide. You only want to use 3/4 usually, but like I said, it's what they had at the store and I bought it. Then you just want to go around and you want to follow the direction that you went. So if you're going around this way with the ace bandage, you want to go that way with the tape, just so that you can make sure you're sealing off that end and it won't unravel later. So then all you want to do is you just want to wrap it around. I only got 1 wrap around because the little peg here ripped my tape just now. I just kind of like to seal the bottom portion as well, just to make sure that there isn't any spots where the mesh ends and the tape starts. I'm sorry, you guys probably can't see this really well. The tape comes to about here, and then I made it go all the way down to the bottom of the stand. And then I'm gonna try my wig head again, like pound it on there. And as you can see, I'm trying to turn this, and it's not going anywhere. And also, this is another good way to check. So it's upside down, and this head's still on there, not going anywhere. You know, ta-da! That's how you guys can make your stand a little more sturdy for your next wig project. More coffee, need more coffee, yeah. I've been getting asked a lot lately about where I got my stand from. So I guess I can talk to you guys about that. So this is my stand. It's covered in hairspray right now because what do? Spray crap with hairspray heavily all day, every day. This is from altierbassi.com. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but I'll put the name right here, and I'll put the link for the website and everything in the box. A couple $100s, I forget how many, I want to say either 2 or 3, and then the shipping was like 80 or something to get it over here. Probably had this about a year and a couple months. I got it last year when I was on the Broadway show Scandalous, which was the first and only time I've ever been on a show full-time, and I like to be a swing. I'm not a big fan of the full-time thing, but that's another story, never mind. Anyway, these are kind of like the top-of-the-line stands. Pretty much every Broadway hairdresser has one. I mainly love this for the reason that it does that. You can ventilate on this. Like, you can put the wig head on it, you can tighten this little screw, and you can see that little screw opens up those little teeth right here. Opens up those little teeth, and what that does is that goes into the side of your canvas blocks plug, and it tightens. The only thing about it, though, is that if you forget to tighten it and you move it, if you do that too much, you can strip out the entire inside of your canvas block. I've seen blocks like that before where they don't stay on these things anymore because they've been stripped down so bad because they're like a couple years old and they've been, you know, through the ringer. But if you're careful, it's fine. The stand is adjustable in height. This does come off so that if you're traveling or you have to pack it up, you can put it into 2 pieces. I also really like them because it has a large footprint. It's not very, very narrow like other wig stands, so it won't wobble like this. Like I find with some of the cheaper, smaller ones, they can wobble side to side because the base isn't big enough. But this base is huge, and it's solid metal. This is metal, this is metal, this is metal. The handles are metal. The only thing I think that's plastic is this little turnkey to anchor it down to the table. I think that's the only thing that is plastic on the whole thing. Everything else is metal. These can get kind of clogged up with cork or with the plastic shavings from your wig blocks. And all you have to do is you just have to take a very thin rat tail comb, like for foiling, and you can just kind of go in there like that and kind of shake it out. There is oil in here and there is oil in here. When you receive them, it's like this black, thick oil. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll put a washcloth around this or something just so they don't get product or water or anything in the mechanism or even hair. But I never started doing that because that's something I've seen recently that I like. But I've had this stand a year, so it's really not greasy. Like, I can still touch this, and I'm not getting crazy greasy or anything, so... You'll see a lot of these sometimes are green. I've heard two different theories. I heard that the Altair Bossy ones used to be green, and I also heard that Burmax or some other company has a version that's almost identical that's green. I don't know. I love this thing. It was probably one of the best things I ever bought, ever, and... I love it and I adore it and I use it almost all of the time at home when I'm working. I love it! Those professional things that, like, once you get to a certain point in your career, you can buy one. It's not one of those things that you need to buy to be a wig maker or you need to buy to be a hairdresser or anything like that. It's kind of a luxury item like a Mercedes or something. You know, you don't need it, but once you have one, it's great. There are several other options that I'm going to show you guys that I also own, and you can kind of see which one's best for what you have. So next 3 different types of stands I'm going to show you work in different ways in different areas. It depends on what kind of counter you have or tabletop or something. So first are the cheap little plasticky stands like this. Now, these little black ones like this is a Salon Care. This is from Sally Beauty. These are pretty, ooh, as they fall. This is pretty much identical to the one that I'm selling on my website right now. BobbyPins.com, they're up for $9, I think. You can also get ones like these, which most hair rooms on Broadway, if they don't have the fancy red Altair Bossy ones, they have these little brown guys, just because it's so much easier to adjust this because it's so much bigger of, you know, space to grab with your hand. I eventually do want to carry these in my shop. They are a little more expensive to get than these from my wholesaler. So it's kind of one of those things, like, once I have more money and more business coming in constantly, I will spring and I'll get some better stands for my shop. But as of now, there's these. These are great. I've had this one since college. Like, I've had this one for probably like 5 or 6 years, and I still use it a lot. You guys have probably seen in the background of other videos how I always have 2 heads up there. They're usually on these guys or other projects I'm working on or stuff I want to get out of the way. But I do take them on location, use this as my clamp at the theater, etc. Is that you can only put them in that much of a table. So if your table's a little thicker than that, these won't fit on there and you're kind of stuck. Now, a lot of times I've seen people use these little guys on a tray table or a foldable table or something like that. That does work. You can get these, which are suction cup stands. These are 2 different styles. This one's broken, as you can see. It's the same kind of top as this guy. You can see that they're the same thing, only this one is broken. I got this on eBay about, God, like 5 or 6 years ago. I got this in college as well, and I got it because I had a thick countertop in my kitchen that I couldn't put a wig clamp on. Make sure that you're not putting this on tile or anything with a seam, or if your counter is like plastic linoleum kind of stuff like I had in college. If there's scratches or dents in it anywhere, you want to make sure you're putting this on an area where this is going to be a complete seal and there's nothing coming in or out of it. Even hair sometimes can disrupt the seal, so you want to make sure this is completely clean and your counter's completely clean and hair and dust free, cracks, tile, grout, etc. You don't want any of that or else this won't work. You basically just moisten it, stick it, and you go like that, and it just suction cups to your counter. So this is my old one. This is a new one. Got this at Ray Beauty. This is by Hair Art. I'm not sure what brand this one is. You can find them online on Amazon and stuff. Like I said, I would love to start to carry more fancy type stands in my shop. But once I can get some more business flowing in, I will. I'd love to carry these suction cup stands. I think they're great, especially when you're traveling. You can set this up in the bathroom on the counter or even on top of the toilet, etc. And you can just go to town on your wig. You can use these things anywhere. I love them. A tripod stand, it's like this. It opens like that. These adjust to, I'm not sure how high. This thing goes really high. This is the setting I keep it on. I just have one leg out of the two that I can make open. I only have one open. And then I have the top part here, which adjusts here. You can adjust the height here by using this little crank, like that. And then you tighten a little screw on this side. You also then can loosen it up here, and you can move this around. This does go flat as well, just like my Altair Bossy stand, except this stand doesn't have the teeth, so the heads kind of still wobble on it. I've had this thing for 7 or 8 years. I got this in college as well. Honestly got this on eBay for about $5. Literally got it for $5. I'm not even joking. I don't think the person knew exactly what it was or how much they cost. And I think it was used. It came in a zip case with a strap so you can carry it around. I still have the case. It's in the closet because I use this so often for tutorials. There's no use in boxing it up and putting it away every time I use it. I can just put it in the corner behind me here, and it's good to go. Oh, this is my next wig project for me. Just ignore the hair right there. Sorry about that. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. I wanted to just show you guys that quick little tip, especially because I'm carrying wig stands in my shop now. I wanted to just show you guys that quick little tip so that you guys can get a nice little sturdier hold when you're doing your projects at home. I wanted to make this video so that I could explain to you guys different types of wig stands, how they are and how they aren't all equal. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys will get out there and experiment. I hope you guys can like, comment, subscribe, and share. Be sure to send me any emails or leave me any comments if you guys have any questions or ideas for a future video, tutorial, talkie blog thingy. And have a safe and happy Christmas and all of those things. I am Jewish, like I've said, but I still wish people Merry Christmas on Christmas. However, I always usually say Happy Holidays, especially if somebody wishes me Merry Christmas. I always go Happy Holidays unless it's actually Christmas. Then I say Merry Christmas. Christmas is the only day where I let that shit pass. Otherwise, it's Happy Holidays. Thank you guys again so much for being so supportive and wanting to learn and hungry for new ideas and new tutorials and stuff like that. I love you guys all so much, and I'm so thankful for you guys, especially this time of year when we are giving thanks for all of those things, regardless of your religion, regardless of your creed or whatever. You guys need to give thanks around this time of year. So this is my way of paying it forward to you guys. Be sure to check out bobbypins.com. Enter the code HAPPYHOLIDAYS15 at checkout. You guys can save 15% on your entire order now through New Year's Eve at midnight. And that's going East Coast time. So if you're on the West Coast or in Europe somewhere, plan accordingly. Thank you all so much. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next week for another Wiggy Weavy Wednesday, and this Friday for my first edition of FAQ Friday. So subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks.